Chapter 1. How to read a cryptid case. A cryptid is not simply any scary creature someone says they saw. The word is most useful when it refers to an animal reported as real but not accepted by mainstream zoology on the available evidence. That definition leaves room for uncertainty. A cryptid may turn out to be a known species seen under poor conditions, an extinct animal that survived longer than expected, an undiscovered species, a deliberate invention, or something that cannot be identified from the surviving record. The key word is reported. A cryptid case begins with a claim, not a conclusion. A person may report a large, hairy figure crossing a logging road. That report could be filed as a Bigfoot encounter, because the description resembles a well-known regional cryptid. But the report itself does not establish that Bigfoot exists. It establishes that a particular witness, at a particular place and time, experienced something they understood that way. That distinction protects both the witness and the reader. People can be sincere and mistaken. They can also be observant and accurate about some details, while reaching the wrong identification. A frightened driver might correctly recall the creature's size, color, and direction of travel, but incorrectly judge its species. A black bear standing briefly on its hind legs can look surprisingly human from 80 yards away, especially at dusk. A known animal does not become unknown merely because the first witness could not name it. 4 different kinds of culture story. An unverified animal is the central subject of cryptozoology. It is a creature claimed to exist in a specific place, usually described as flesh and blood and capable of leaving tracks, hair, photographs, scat, or other physical traces. Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, and the orang pendek are generally discussed this way. The evidence may be weak, conflicting, or intriguing, but the claim is biological. There is an animal out there. A folklore figure belongs primarily to tradition. It may be part of religious belief, moral teaching, local history, or storytelling. The Australian bunyip, for example, cannot be reduced to a lake monster without losing the cultural meanings attached to the name. Folklore can influence later sightings, but folklore is not automatically evidence for an animal. A story passed through generations may tell us a great deal about the people who preserved it, even when it cannot tell us whether a particular creature was physically present. A hoax is a claim knowingly created or altered to deceive. A person in a costume who invents a nighttime monster sighting is staging a hoax. So is someone who modifies a photograph, plants oversized tracks, or lies about where a specimen was found. Hoaxes matter because they can contaminate a case file for decades. Yet, the discovery that one photograph is fake does not prove that every witness in the same region was dishonest. Each item must stand on its own. A documented species is an animal accepted through reliable, repeatable evidence. That usually means a physical specimen, genetic material collected under controlled conditions, clear diagnostic photographs, or multiple lines of evidence, reviewed by qualified specialists. The coelacanth is often cited as an animal once thought extinct and later confirmed alive. Its confirmation did not rest on a blurry image or a compelling campfire account. Scientists had actual fish to examine. The line between these categories is not always neat. A local legend may inspire real people to report real animals. A hoax may borrow details from folklore. An unverified animal may eventually become documented. The useful question is not, do I believe this? It is, what sort of claim is being made, and what evidence would be needed to test it? Listening to the witness without writing the ending first. Most cases in this book are presented through the perspective of the people who said they were there. First-person accounts have power because they preserve the immediate human experience, the sudden sound beyond the tree line, the smell inside a parked car, the odd shape caught in headlights, the moment a witness realizes that another person saw it too. But first-person is not the same as certainty. A responsible case record separates what the witness directly observed from what they later concluded. Consider these 2 statements. I saw a 7-foot ape walking across the creek. I saw a dark, upright figure cross the creek. It looked taller than the fence beside it, and I thought it was an ape. The first sentence presents an identification as fact. The second preserves the observation and makes the interpretation clear. Often, the second is more valuable. When possible, an investigator begins with an open account. Tell me what happened from the beginning. Leading questions can quietly manufacture details. Asking, did it have glowing red eyes? may cause a witness to reconsider a vague reflection as red eyes. Asking, "What did you notice about its eyes, if anything?" gives the witness room to say they saw none at all. Good interviews also establish practical details. Where was the witness standing? How far away was the object or animal? What was the lighting? Full daylight, moonlight, headlights, porch light, or darkness? How long did the encounter last? 2 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 minutes? Was the witness alone? Had they consumed alcohol, taken medication, or gone without sleep? Did they discuss the event with others before making a report? Is the account recorded close to the event, or recalled 20 years later? None of these questions is an accusation. They are the ordinary facts needed to understand perception. A witness who saw something for 3 seconds through rain-streaked glass has had a different opportunity to observe than a fisherman who watched an object across calm water for 15 minutes with 2 companions. The wording of an account also matters. Some first-person passages are taken from letters, interviews, police statements, newspaper quotations, recordings, or published memoirs. Others have been lightly edited for clarity, or assembled from several statements by the same witness. When a precise quotation survives, it should be treated as a quotation. When only a later retelling exists, it should be read as a remembered account, not a verbatim transcript. Memory changes. This is normal, not evidence of bad faith. People tend to retain the emotional center of an unusual event, while losing peripheral details, such as exact time, sequence, distance, and weather. Later news coverage, conversations, documentaries, and repeated interviews can add familiar details to an original memory. The best contemporary records are often the least dramatic: a police log, a dated letter, a short newspaper item printed before a legend had fully formed. Each case entry can be approached as a compact evidence file rather than a verdict. 6 elements deserve attention. Location. Location is more than a pin on a map. A report from a swamp, mountain road, lakeshore, farmyard, or suburban edge suggests different possible animals and different limits on visibility. Terrain can also distort perception. A figure on a ridge may appear much larger than it is. Sound can travel unusually far over water or through valleys. A place with abundant black bears, escaped exotic pets, or large migratory birds should be considered before extraordinary explanations. Date. The date helps place a report in context. Season affects animal behavior, foliage, daylight, water level, and travel conditions. A sighting reported in October may coincide with deer rutting, bear feeding activity, or migrating birds. The date also reveals what cultural influences were already present. Did the witness use a cryptid name before newspapers popularized it, or only afterward? Witness. Ask who reported the event and how close they were to it. A single eyewitness is not worthless, but independent witnesses are stronger than a group that discussed the incident before anyone wrote it down. A trained observer is not automatically correct, and an ordinary person is not automatically unreliable. What matters is the quality of the observation and the consistency of the account. Physical description. Specific details are more useful than labels. "It was huge" is less informative than "its shoulders rose above the hood of my pickup." "It made a terrible noise" is less useful than 3 low grunts followed by a high scream, lasting about 5 seconds. Look for descriptions of height or length estimated against familiar objects. Color, hair, skin, feathers or scales, number and position of limbs. Movement, walking, hopping, gliding, swimming, climbing. Sound, odor, and tracks. Behavior toward people, vehicles, livestock, or other animals. Repeated details across independent reports can be noteworthy, but repetition alone is not proof. Witnesses may be drawing from the same local story. Evidence. Physical evidence has levels. A photograph may be genuine, yet show only an ordinary animal. A footprint may be large but poorly documented. A hair sample may prove to be deer, bear, dog, or human when tested. Even a clear image can be hard to interpret without scale, location, date, and the original file. The strongest evidence is evidence that can be checked by someone else. Original photographs are better than screenshots. A track photographed beside a measuring tape is better than a verbal estimate. A sample collected with a documented chain of custody is better than one that passed through several hands. Absence of such evidence does not mean nothing happened. it means the case remains difficult to resolve. A careful entry does not force every report into a single answer. It considers ordinary explanations alongside the unusual one. Bear, owl, deer, escaped animal, floating debris, misheard sound, prank, optical illusion, or memory shaped by rumor. The most respectful reading of a witness is often the most disciplined one. Take the experience seriously, preserve what was actually said, and remain honest about what the evidence can and cannot establish.
That was the opening of Real Cryptid Stories.
Would you keep listening? Let me know in the comments. And if your attention drifted, tell me the exact section where that happened. Honest feedback will help us make the next book better. If you would like the complete book, you'll find the link in the description.